Some nights, your soul feels heavier than your body. You sit in the dark, asking the silence to speak, because nothing else will. If you're there right now, listen closely. You're not being buried, you're being planted. Life rarely whispers before a breakthrough. It tests, it shakes, it breaks. And just when you think everything is falling apart, something greater is being forged in the fire. When something extraordinary is about to enter your life, it rarely arrives without first tearing through what you thought was solid. The signs? They're subtle but unmistakable. You must learn to see not with your eyes, but with your endurance. Let me tell you a story. The story of Marcus, a man who lost everything before he gained it all. There was a man named Marcus, a soldier, a thinker, a father. He gave everything to his family, to his country, to his purpose. And then life, in one brutal sweep, took it all. His home burned, his comrades lost, his wife gone. And with her, his hope. Marcus wandered the ruins of his life, not looking for answers, but for a reason to take one more breath. Days became weeks, and weeks blurred into months. He was no longer living, only existing. One day, after yet another storm, he sat beneath a shattered tree. Wind howling, rain pouring, thunder above. Yet Marcus didn't move. For the first time, he whispered, "If this is all there is, so be it. But I will not leave until I understand why I'm still here." And in that stillness, something shifted. The storm didn't stop, but Marcus stood up. That moment when he chose not to surrender to chaos, but to rise in it, that was the beginning of everything. Years later, he would lead an empire built on principles, on reason, on resilience, on the bones of his worst days. He never forgot that moment. Because he realized, before life gives you more, it asks if you're ready to carry it. These are the signs you'll see before something big enters your life. Sign 1. Everything familiar begins to fall apart. Everything familiar begins to fall apart, and at first, it doesn't make sense. The places that once made you feel safe now feel foreign. The people you used to lean on suddenly drift away or become distant shadows of themselves. It starts subtly. Maybe the conversations feel a little colder. Maybe your favorite routines lose their magic. The world around you looks the same, but something deep inside begins to ache. It's not depression. It's not disconnection. It's an unraveling. The old life is detaching itself from you because it no longer fits the person you're becoming. There's a quiet heartbreak that comes with this phase. You find yourself grieving things that are still physically present. You sit in rooms with people you once laughed with and feel like a stranger. It's confusing. How can something you've known for years suddenly feel so wrong? You try to force it. You show up, you smile, you fake comfort. But deep inside, your intuition is louder than ever. It's telling you, this is not where you're meant to stay. Familiarity is no longer a sign of alignment. It's a warning that you're shrinking to stay safe. You might feel guilt. That's normal. You'll question whether you're the problem. You'll replay memories, cling to the good moments, and tell yourself maybe you're just being ungrateful. After all, this is the life you once prayed for. But the truth is, evolution always demands release. Growth doesn't ask for permission. When you're being prepared for something bigger, life doesn't just add to your plate, it clears it first. And sometimes that means tearing down the very things that once felt like home. The collapse of the familiar is not chaos, it's calibration. Think of it like a tree shedding its leaves. It may look barren, even dying, but in reality, it's making room for deeper roots and stronger branches. Your relationships, your job, your routine, all of it is being recalibrated to make space for the next version of you. The version that's more aligned, more awake, and more aware of what no longer serves your purpose. You don't lose the familiar because you're failing. You lose it because you're rising. It's a lonely season. When the walls fall, the noise stops, and you're left with only your own voice. It can be terrifying. You'll crave distraction. You'll want to run back to what feels easy, to what doesn't ask you to think or change. But the silence is sacred. This is where clarity lives. The discomfort is a signal that your spirit is detaching from things that no longer resonate. It's not about loss, it's about release. And in this release, you reclaim pieces of yourself you didn't know were missing. Eventually, you start noticing something strange. As you let go of the old, you begin to feel lighter. Not immediately, but gradually. A sense of peace finds you in unexpected places. You sit alone and don't feel lonely. You take slower steps and don't feel like you're falling behind. That's the shift. When the familiar falls apart, it gives you the rare gift of rediscovery. You start remembering who you were before the world told you who to be, before comfort disguised itself as loyalty, before you mistook stillness for security. This stage doesn't end quickly. It lingers, testing your patience and your faith. There will be moments you want to go back, to rebuild the old walls, to resurrect what's been lost. But if you listen closely, your heart will whisper, forward. Because deep down, you know there's no life left in what's been broken. Not for you, not anymore. And while stepping into the unknown feels like free-falling, it's actually the first step toward flight. The dismantling of your current world is the exact blueprint for your future one. Everything familiar begins to fall apart, not to punish you, but to prepare you. You're not being abandoned, you're being upgraded. This is the uncomfortable middle, the sacred gap between who you were and who you are becoming. And while it may feel like you're losing everything, what you're really losing is the weight that was slowing you down. You're not falling behind, you're being aligned. The pieces are not breaking, they're being rearranged into something far more powerful than you ever imagined. Sign 2. You feel an inner restlessness that has no clear cause. You feel an inner restlessness that has no clear cause, and it arrives quietly, like a whisper that never stops. It doesn't make sense at first. Your life may look fine on the surface. You've got the job, the routine, the relationships. Nothing seems obviously wrong. But inside something is stirring. It's not loud, but it's constant. A soft ache in the background of your thoughts. A quiet voice that asks, "Is this really it?" You ignore it at first, assuming it's just boredom or burnout. But it lingers, and then it grows. This restlessness isn't anxiety. It's not fear either. It's not something you can explain to the people around you, and that makes it feel even heavier. How do you tell someone you're drowning when the water is invisible? You smile, go through the motion, and check off the days, but there's no spark, no fire. It's like you're living someone else's life, playing a role that no longer fits. The things that used to excite you feel dull now. You crave something, but you don't even know what it is. You just know it's not here. There's a silent war that starts in this phase. One part of you wants to stay in place because it's safe, predictable, and easy to explain. But another part of you, buried deeper, is starting to wake up. It's tired of sleepwalking. It wants something real, something alive, something that moves you. This part of you doesn't care about comfort. It craves purpose. It doesn't want applause. It wants meaning. But to follow it, you'd have to risk everything. You'd have to admit that what once worked for you no longer does. And that's terrifying. You begin to notice this restlessness in odd ways. You become more sensitive to the way people speak to you. You pull away from surface-level conversations. You start asking deeper questions, even if you don't have the answers yet. Music hits different, silence becomes louder. You find yourself pausing in moments that used to rush by. It's like your soul is calling you back into the present, asking you to feel more deeply, to live more honestly. And even though you can't explain why you feel this way, you know it's not going away. This restlessness is a sacred signal. It's not a glitch. It's a guidance system. It's life tapping on your shoulder, telling you, you weren't made to live in neutral. It's trying to get your attention, not to destroy what you've built, but to show you that it's time to expand, time to evolve. Your old life may have been beautiful, but it's no longer big enough for the person you're becoming. That ache inside is the beginning of awakening. The soul doesn't shake when it's comfortable. It stirs when it's growing. You may start questioning everything: your career, your relationships, the way you spend your time. What once felt like your path now looks like a cage. You'll feel guilty for wanting more, for thinking about walking away from things others would kill to have. But this isn't selfishness, it's not greed, it's honesty. When something deeper is calling you, staying silent becomes a form of betrayal. You can either choose the comfort of your current cage or the discomfort of your coming growth. But you cannot choose both. The people around you might not understand. They'll tell you to be grateful. They'll tell you it's just a phase. But they don't feel what you feel. They don't carry what you carry. This isn't just about chasing a dream. It's about aligning with your truth. And sometimes that truth comes with no map, no timeline, no guarantees, just a raw, relentless pull towards something more. This is the crossroads between existence and purpose, between surviving and truly living. This inner restlessness with no clear cause is not here to torment you. It's here to transform you. It's the soul's way of telling you, you're meant for more, and you already know it. You may not see the full path yet, but the next step is already forming beneath your feet. And once you start to move in that direction, even slowly, the restlessness doesn't disappear. It becomes fuel, it becomes fire, and eventually it becomes the reason you find yourself again, not in someone else's version of success, but in your own, honest, unapologetic becoming. Sign 3. You are being tested over and over again. You are being tested over and over again, and it feels personal. It feels like everything that could go wrong is going wrong. Plans fall apart, people let you down. The things you once counted on start to slip through your fingers. You begin to wonder if you're cursed, or if the universe is punishing you for something you can't name. But deep down, a quiet part of you suspects something else. This isn't punishment, it's pressure. And pressure always comes before transformation. The tests don't make sense in the moment. One thing after another, back-to-back disappointments. Doors slam shut, often just as you were about to walk through them. You keep showing up, you keep trying, and still, it feels like you're being met with silence or resistance. It's exhausting. You reach a point where you stop hoping, not because you've given up, but because hoping hurts. The weight of waiting wears on your spirit, and you begin to question everything: your path, your purpose, yourself. And yet you're still standing. Maybe not confidently, maybe not with clarity, but you're still here. That's the quiet strength no one sees. What looks like surviving is actually becoming. These tests aren't designed to destroy you. They're refining you. They're carving out the parts of you that were never built to carry what's coming. You ask for strength, life gives you trials. You ask for wisdom, life gives you loss. You ask for purpose, life strips away the things that distract you from it. There's a sacred fire in these repeated trials. You begin to understand that you're not being broken down, you're being broken open. And in that opening, something shifts. Your tolerance for superficial things fades. Your patience sharpens. Your awareness deepens. You begin to recognize the patterns, the same lesson in a different disguise, the same choice between staying small or stepping up. Every test is a mirror. It doesn't ask, "Are you ready to win?" It asks, "Are you ready to grow no matter what it costs?" Growth doesn't arrive dressed in comfort. It shows up in the form of delay, denial, disappointment. These are not signs that you're off track. They are checkpoints. Each one asks, can you stay steady in the storm? Can you hold your integrity when no one's watching? Can you trust in the invisible when the visible is crumbling? This is where you build the unshakable version of yourself, the version that doesn't beg for ease, but welcomes the challenge because they know what it's shaping. Some tests come in the form of people, the betrayal that forces you to love yourself deeper, the silence that teaches you to speak to your own soul, the rejection that redirects you toward alignment. Other tests are quiet, waiting, repeating the same effort with no results, having the courage to show up again and again, not because of guaranteed success, but because your growth depends on it. You don't get to choose the test, but you do choose who you become through it. Eventually something clicks. You stop taking the tests personally, and you start seeing them as preparation. You realize you're being entrusted, not punished. Life is not trying to see how much you can take. It's trying to show you how much you can hold. The delay is building endurance. The struggle is sharpening clarity. The wait is forging strength. The resistance is teaching resilience. You're being trained, moment by moment, to stand taller. So when the breakthrough comes, you don't just receive it, you carry it. You are being tested over and over again, because what's coming is not ordinary, it's heavy, it's sacred, and it requires someone who has been through the fire to hold it. Not someone who's perfect, not someone who's never failed, but someone who's refused to quit, no matter how many times they've been knocked down. That's who you're becoming, not by force, but by choice. Every test has been the forge, and though it doesn't feel like it now, one day you'll look back and see it clearly. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared for something far greater than you imagined. There comes a point in your journey when nothing makes sense on the outside, but something unshakable begins to rise within you. The ground beneath your feet may feel like it's crumbling, but what's really happening is a sacred shift. When everything familiar begins to fall apart, it's not a signal to retreat, it's a call to rise. The life you've outgrown must first unravel before the one you're meant to live can unfold. That quiet restlessness in your soul, the ache you can't explain, isn't a flaw, it's a sign, a whisper from within, calling you to stop settling for a life that doesn't set your spirit on fire. That discomfort is your compass. It's not meant to break you, it's meant to lead you back to yourself. And when life starts testing you again and again, it's not to prove your weakness, it's to show you your strength. These trials are not here to punish you, they're preparing you, refining you, shaping you into the person capable of holding something bigger than you've ever known. You're not being delayed, denied, or forgotten. You're being molded for more. So if you're in that season right now, where everything feels uncertain, where the pressure is heavy, where the waiting feels endless, hold on. Not because it's easy, but because you're being trusted with something sacred. The storm is not your ending, it's the beginning of your becoming. Thank you for walking through this with open eyes and an open heart. Stay strong, stay grounded, trust the shift. What's meant for you is not just coming, it's being built through every challenge you face today. Thank you, stay faithful, stay fierce, and may peace follow you every step of the way. God bless you.